This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Wednesday, the 3rd day of September in the year 2025. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting, and here is what we're tracking tonight. Returning officers from across the country have made their official declarations of the election results in their districts, and those declarations point to the incumbent People's Progressive Party Civic winning the elections and remaining in government. The Elections Commission is still to make the final declaration, but the declared results from the 10 districts have been published. The PPP has been declared a winner in 8 of those 10 electoral districts. The We Invest in Nationhood Party captured the other 2 districts. The APNU was left out in the cold with no path to any victory, losing its previous strongholds to win and the PPP. The PPP held on to its stronghold in Region 1 with 9,030 votes, while the newcomer Win Party picked up 5,716 votes, and the APNU only managed to attract 469 votes. In Region 2, the incumbent party, the PPP, picked up 17,478 votes. The Win Party got 7,400 votes, and the APNU was left in the 3rd place with 1,838 votes in Region 2. Over in Region 3, the PP Civic won its stronghold with 48,055 votes, followed by the Win Party's 12,969 votes and the APNU with 8,992 votes. The PP Civic has for the first time won the majority of votes in Region 4, securing 87,536 votes, followed by the APNU with 46,956 votes and the Win Party with 41,607 votes. Although there was a low voter turnout, the PPP still managed to pick up more than 9,000 additional votes when compared to the 2020 figures. The APNU saw a massive fall-off from its 2020 showing. In West Berbice, Region 5, the PP Civic also clinched victory in that region, securing 18,432 votes, followed by the APNU with 6,480 votes and the Win Party with 5,816 votes. In Region 6, the PPP picked up 41,320 votes, followed by the Win Party with 12,623 votes and the APNU with 6,223 votes. The Win Party in its maiden electoral voyage captured Region 7 with a total of 5,098 votes to the PPP's 3,577 votes. The APNU, which previously enjoyed widespread support in Region 7, only mustered 983 votes. Across in Region 8, the PPP secured victory in that region with 2,872 votes, compared to Win's 2,562 votes, and the APNU with a total of 276 votes. Region 9's declaration saw the incumbent party holding firm to its footing in the region. It picked up 9,938 votes. The Win Party got 4,817 votes, and the APNU secured just 450 votes. The Win Party swept the APNU from its stronghold in Region 10, securing 10,548 votes, followed by the APNU with 5,334 votes and the PP Civic with 4,260 votes. The other parties secured a minimal number of votes in the various regions. When all of the declared results are tabulated, the Forward Guyana movement will come out on top of the Alliance for Change and the Assembly of Liberty and Prosperity at the bottom of the table. The Guyana Elections Commission is expected to make its final declarations soon. More news coming up in just a moment.
than just four walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Quartz presents the Home Event 2025, happening now at Quartz stores nationwide. It's the perfect time to refresh your home. Come explore new arrivals, bestsellers, and deals you can't resist. Discover the widest range of stylish furniture, cutting-edge TVs, audio systems, and appliances that are smart and energy efficient, all backed by the Quartz low price guarantee. Our experts will help you choose what you need for your home. Shop with Quartz Ready Finance and get more. Don't miss the Quartz Home Event 2025. Quartz, bringing value home.
Dreaming of studying in the United States? Education USA is here to help you find your perfect fit. With nearly 4,000 higher education institutions in the US, there is something for everyone. At Education USA, the goal is to provide you with accurate, unbiased, and comprehensive information about higher educational opportunities in the United States. Our Education USA advisor is ready to guide you towards your academic journey. Join the growing community of Guyanese students achieving their dreams with Education USA. We welcome students from all backgrounds and cultures. Start your journey today.
The Guyana Elections Commission this evening said it has received a valid request for the recount of the ballots cast in Sub-District 4 of District 4 from the APNU. GCOM said in that regard the Commission will conduct the recount tomorrow Thursday from 8 o'clock in the morning using a total of 25 workstations. The recount exercise will proceed uninterrupted until completion, GCOM said. In view of the development, the Chief Election Officer Vishnu Prasad has written to all political parties, informing them of the APNU's request and the need for each party to ensure at least one accredited agent is present for each workstation. This evening, too, the APNU presidential candidate Aubrey Norton noted the reason for the recount.
From the inception, we contended that a padded list will create conditions for illegalities in these elections. We are convinced that is the case. We have seen in Region 4 something very implausible, that we will drop from 120,000 plus votes to 40-something thousand. It has never happened in any elections in the world. Also in Region 10, we moved from complete domination of the region to having lost the region, something we have never seen in this country.
That is the only request received so far by the Elections Commission for a recount. With the We Invest in Nationhood party set to make its entry into the National Assembly following Monday's elections and its leader remaining sanctioned by the U.S. government, U.S. Ambassador to Guyana Nicole Theriot today said the U.S. government would find ways to work around sanctioned elected officials, although it would not engage with an OFAC-sanctioned official on financial or transactional matters.
We've had OFAC-sanctioned individuals in governments in other places in the world, several in fact, and we find ways to work around that.
And you've had good working relations?
Yes, we've been able to achieve our objectives and the objectives of that country without any barrier. You just have to be creative in ways to work around it. We wouldn't be able to work directly with Mr. Mohammed in any sort of transaction or financial situation, but we could work with the people, the other parliamentarians. I assume he'll be in Parliament, the other parliamentarians and other people on the particular committees that we're dealing with. No, there are ways to work around it, and we will just follow the U.S. law as it prescribes working with OFAC-sanctioned individuals.
The We Invest in Nationhood party is headed by businessman Azruddin Mohammed, who was sanctioned last year by the U.S. Treasury Department's Office of Foreign Assets Control, along with his father, their businesses, and the government permanent secretary, May Thomas. Mohammed was the presidential candidate for his party, which appears set to head into the National Assembly as the largest opposition party. Mohammed could possibly be chosen by his party to serve as the opposition leader. The U.S. ambassador reminded that the OFAC sanctions are only financial, and therefore there would not be an issue with Mohammed having to be engaged on other issues related to various committees of the National Assembly that he might serve on, and that may need to work along with the U.S. She repeatedly told reporters that there are ways to work around the issue of a sanctioned official. Prior to the elections, the U.S. ambassador had expressed her concern over Mohammed's run for elected office. At the time, she said his election to government or the National Assembly could effectively cause the U.S. government to change the way it conducts business with Guyana. Now let's tell you that Monday's elections were competitive and peaceful, but undue advantage by the incumbent government, legal gaps and insufficient campaign rules created an uneven playing field, the European Union Election Observer Mission has found. The EU Observer Mission delivered its early report on Monday's elections at the Pegasus Hotel today, with its chief observer, Robert Biedron, a member of the European Parliament, explaining that the incumbent government's advantage over the other 5 political parties distorted the level playing field during the election campaign.
On 1st September, Guyana held its general and regional elections in a peaceful and orderly manner. Voters queued patiently, polling stations opened on time, and polling staff carried out their duties professionally and efficiently. At the same time, the elections took place in a highly polarized and evolving political landscape against the backdrop of exponential oil revenue growth. While fundamental freedoms were largely respected, the campaign was affected by unequal conditions, largely due to ruling parties' incumbency advantage.
In the lead-up to election day, President Irfan Ali and his administration commissioned a number of public projects, hospitals, schools, roads and bridges, in addition to a number of social support programs that overlapped into their campaign activities, the European Union found.
The campaign finance is largely unregulated, leading to a lack of transparency and accountability. The ruling party benefited from the advantages of incumbency. Public projects such as hospitals, schools, roads and bridges were inaugurated in a parallel with campaign activities, while state media and government social media channels amplified ruling party messages. Let me be clear on that. When the line between state and party blurs, voters are disadvantaged and the level of playing field is compromised.
The EU observers noted that most commissioning events were largely attended by PP civic supporters in party colors and symbols, while candidate speeches urged to vote for the ruling party. Beneficiaries of government cash grants supported added reported having received unsolicited phone calls encouraging them to vote for the ruling party, raising concern over the misuse of personal data. The Observer Mission also took note of the unprecedented mass promotion and bonuses for more than 2,800 police officers, which were announced by the President on the 10th of August, just weeks before the elections. Biedron told reporters that direct pressure on civil servants and part-time government employees was also reported, with instances of civil servants being demoted or transferred from one location to another after they expressed support for another party. Added to that, the EU election observers received reports of voters refraining from openly supporting opposition parties, fearing negative repercussions, such as the loss of employment or social benefits. According to the mission, the lines were blurred, and campaign financing in the country remains largely unregulated, leading to a lack of transparency and accountability. Spending ceilings are low and outdated, and the existing rules are ambiguous, the chief of mission reported. Political parties and candidates are obligated to report campaign expenditures to the Elections Commission, but that has not been enforced. The Carter Center today said reforms are needed to create a more level playing field and increase voters' trust in the electoral process. The Carter Center made those comments when it released its preliminary report on the elections. In delivering that report at the Pegasus Hotel today, the chairman of the Carter Center, Jason Carter, said while Guyana remains a vibrant democracy and conducted its elections in a peaceful and orderly manner, there remains persistent issues that continue to undermine trust in the electoral process.
Guyana is a vibrant democracy. And yes, there are some persistent issues that have undermined trust between the parties at different times, and that lack of trust is very important. But Guyana is a robust democracy, and the people of Guyana truly embrace their democratic values.
Mr. Carter said with its newfound wealth, Guyana's economic gains are enormous, and the next National Assembly must work towards both constitutional and legislative reforms to strengthen and protect the country's democracy and the electoral system. Campaign financing is among areas the Carter Center believes requires urgent reform.
So we believe that the stakes are high, not just for the people of Guyana, but for democracy globally. This is an important moment, and this is an important place. And that's why we have called for years on Guyana's leaders in this new government and the new parliament, whoever they may be, to continue the crucial discussions around constitutional reform, to implement campaign finance reform, to ensure, it is especially important, equal access to public information about the contracts that are occurring, about the things that affect people in their daily lives. And this is a crucial issue between elections. Elections are really a report card on a democracy. They are not the democracy itself. There's so much that occurs between elections that will be crucially important. And we also call on them to continue to implement the laws that they have that surround and support their electoral process.
By doing what is right, Carter submitted that Guyana has a real opportunity to be a world leader and serve as an example of a vibrant democracy that is built on freedom and based on equal and wide access to political power.
Guyana will soon be a rich country. And the question is whether it will be a rich country full of poor people, or whether it will be a rich country that is based on a democracy that does not leave people out of the system and use that democratic heritage to ensure that the wealth meets the needs of the people and that the government is accountable to those same people in a real, vibrant democracy. And Guyana has what it takes to do this today.
During the elections, the Carter Center deployed 50 observers across the country. Collectively, they visited a total of 234 polling stations at 204 polling places in all 10 regions. Currently, the Carter Center is observing the tabulation process. The center has been active in Guyana since 1991.
Your own home is so much more than just 4 walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Washi. Hi people. Washing made so easy since I found Washi. Washing me use wash me clothes and I can say wash it soap powder, wash clothes so nice. Wash it soap powder, leave your clothes color bright. Wash it soap powder, leave me clothes smelling nice, of course. So give thanks to wash it soap powder for doing my laundry right. Keep my clothes color bright, have my clothes smelling nice for sure. I could not ask for more. Comes in lemon and original. It is a washing machine in a pack. Wash it soap powder, wash clothes so nice. Wash it soap powder, leave your clothes color bright. Wash it soap powder, have my clothes smelling nice, of course.
Distributors located in the Stabrook Market.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's one look, you know the one, or one touch, even one word. I can start with one step, or one promise, one thrill, one first time, one deep breath, one leap of faith, one day to remember, or one night to forget. One moment, so many stories that make up one crazy, average, everyday, fabulous life. We get one life. Just one. Make your move. It all starts with one.
While praising the voting day process at Monday's elections, the Commonwealth Observer Group noted several concerns about the overall electoral process in Guyana and has offered a menu of recommendations. In presenting the group's interim statement this morning, the head of the Observer Mission, the former Foreign Minister of Tonga, said the Commonwealth team observed the election process in 7 of the 10 electoral districts. She said the group noted a relatively peaceful atmosphere on election day, with polling day procedures largely respected. GCOM received praise for the work of its election day staff. Polling stations being inaccessible to persons with disabilities was noted, and the Commonwealth team encouraged greater adherence to international good practices aligned with the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. On the Guyana Elections Commission, the Commonwealth Group said it has noted with concern the reports of a significant trust deficit with the Elections Commission and its impact on the perceived credibility of the conduct of the electoral process.
Several stakeholders expressed concerns about the need for greater transparency in the electoral administration and the level of preparedness of GCOM. The group recommends a review of the legislation around the composition of the GCOM. The present composition compromises its ability to effectively operate and excludes important political stakeholders from deliberations and decision-making. We note with concern the perceptions of mistrust by some of the OLE and the challenges in resolving its apparent inflated nature. We recommend that measures to address this, including, for example, an enumeration exercise, be undertaken.
The Commonwealth Group has recommended measures be put in place to foster greater inclusion and support for the smaller and newer parties to enable them to better participate in the electoral process. According to the Commonwealth Group, it has noted that GCOM remains without a legal advisor and went into the elections without a legal advisor. It has recommended that the post be filled as a matter of priority. The Commonwealth team also expressed its worry over the limited implementation of previous recommendations by observer missions to Guyana's elections.
The group noted with concern the very limited implementation of the recommendations of observer groups over the years. The group encouraged all political stakeholders to give priority to the establishment of a robust post-electoral domestic mechanism that may in short order produce the legislative and constitutional reform needed for the conduct of credible, transparent and inclusive elections.
The group said during its observation of the elections, it was made aware of allegations of intimidation of public sector workers, local business owners, members of civil society groups, and community members who reportedly feared losing employment or economic opportunities if they failed to demonstrate support for a particular party. The group also said it found that the role of civil society, which it sees as an important mechanism for transparency, accountability, and democracy in Guyana, could be significantly strengthened. It also noted concerns about the disproportionate coverage of the governing party by the state media and has recommended legislation to provide equitable access for all candidates and political parties. The group said it also noted with concern that some members of the private media had reportedly self-censored for fear of victimization. It has expressed worry over the use of state resources for campaigning purposes and has recommended regulations of campaign financing.
The group was concerned about the allegations of the use of state resources for campaigning. The group also found that campaign financing rules are outdated and unenforced and recommends the reform of regulation of campaign financing to promote fairness, transparency and accountability. We note with concern allegations of dissatisfaction with the lack of access to public information, including from the Office of the Commissioner of Information. We recommend that adequate resourcing and empowerment of a mechanism to efficiently respond to public information requests that will promote public transparency and accountability around elections.
The Commonwealth Election Observer Group said all political stakeholders should exercise diligence in creating appropriate and inclusive domestic mechanisms to review and implement the recommendations of observers to further strengthen democracy in the country. It has also encouraged all relevant stakeholders to contribute to these processes. The Commonwealth said it remains committed to accompanying Guyana's democratic strengthening. The size of the voters' list was among primary issues raised heading into Monday's election, the Caribbean Community Election Observer Mission said, as it recommended that extensive work and even re-registration be done to clean the list ahead of future elections. The CARICOM Observer team was in Guyana since the 26th of August observing the electoral process, and according to its chief of mission, Josephine Tamai, the size of the voters list was a primary concern raised by the majority of stakeholders, including political parties that were engaged by the mission. In addition to the names of eligible voters residing in Guyana, the list of electors, which totals more than 757,000 names, contains the names of Guyanese residing abroad and the names of dead persons. GCOM, in its meetings with the observer team, explained that the names of Guyanese residing overseas cannot be removed from the list of electors, and legal provisions are in place to remove the names of the deceased, with assistance from the General Registration Office, the Guyana Police Force, and the Health Ministry. Tamai was keen on pointing out that while the country, according to the last census, has approximately 800,000 people, the voters list has more than 750,000.
GCOM informed us that persons not residing in Guyana cannot just simply be removed from the voters list. And so in terms of that, one of the recommendations in terms of cleaning of the voters list would be they could either look at maybe a possible re-registration of voters. Also, they could also do more work in terms of getting deceased persons off the list. Because like I mentioned earlier, the complaints were that despite information being sent to GCOM, some of those names still remain on the list.
Tamai, who is the chief election officer in Belize, said an extensive exercise needs to be done to remove the names of dead people from the voters list. She said while the election secretariat is critical to the process, Guyanese also have a role to play in helping to clean the list.
I want to encourage citizens of Guyana as well, that if you have persons in your family who are deceased, to take in the information to GCOM's office and to assist in terms of that process. That will help in terms of trying to clean that list. But as I mentioned, a re-registration exercise would also help in that process.
The composition of the Elections Commission and the need for campaign financing legislation were among other issues raised by stakeholders during their engagements with the CARICOM Election Observer Mission ahead of Monday's elections. A final report from the team is expected in the coming weeks. The U.S. Embassy was among observer groups that monitored Monday's elections and the process that followed with the counting and tabulating of the results. U.S. Ambassador to Guyana Nicole Theriot, who headed the embassy's observer team, said Guyana is proving that it is a mature democracy, and she's proud of the election day process.
I am so incredibly proud of the Guyanese people and the GPF and everyone who has ensured that this election has been peaceful and calm. I was out in Linden all day on election day, and I also visited some polling stations here in Georgetown. Everything was smooth and efficient and organized. It was such a beautiful thing to see. I mean, Guyana is clearly proving that it truly is a mature democracy.
The U.S. ambassador said she observed the need for more accessibility to accommodate persons with disabilities, as there have been complaints that several polling places were without that accessibility. She said the overall process was conducted well.
But I have to tell you, it was really heartwarming to watch the GCOM officials help those handicapped individuals get to be able to vote. They were incredibly kind and helpful, but it doesn't address the issue, which is we need to have handicap accessible polling stations. But the other things I saw, people forgetting their ID, but then they would use a passport instead and swear an affidavit and sign the form, and it all worked out. I didn't see anyone being denied voting. Everyone brought their documents, and it worked out really well. So no, I actually didn't witness any irregularities.
6 parties contested Monday's elections in the 10 electoral districts across the country. The U.S. Embassy and other diplomatic missions in Guyana served among the accredited observers for the elections. On the police blotter tonight, a Cummings Lodge man who reportedly set his house on fire after brutally stabbing his wife to death has also died as a result of burns that he sustained in the fire. The police reported the incident said it took place at around 1:30 this morning at 2nd Street Cummings Lodge on the east coast of Demerara. The murdered woman has been identified as 50-year-old Paula Abraham, while the dead reputed husband's name has been given as Ishwar Singh. He was 46 years old. He was known to be an abuser of alcohol and would often threaten the wife, relatives told investigators. The daughter of the dead couple, Preeta Singh, told investigators that she was awakened by her mother's screams this morning and noticed that the house was on fire. She said she immediately raised an alarm and ran out of the building as neighbors rushed over to assist. The young woman said she noticed a sofa in the house being on fire, that her father was seen exiting the building with burns about his body. The fire service was summoned and the mother's body was found in her bedroom after the fire was extinguished. The police said blood stains were noticed on the woman's clothing and there was a stab wound to the side of her neck. She was pronounced dead at the scene, while the reputed husband was taken to the hospital with severe burns about his body. He died this morning at the Georgetown Hospital. The daughter also told investigators that her father was an alcoholic who would habitually threaten the mother about taking her life in the home. A full police probe is underway tonight.
Live the island dream. It's your chance to be one of over 100 winners in the Island Dream promotion. Win your share of more than $1 million in cash and prizes, plus 2 all-inclusive weekend staycations for 2. And that's not all. Score coolers packed with Buster, Turbo, Altitude and Viva. Just buy any can or bottle of Turbo, Buster, Altitude or Viva. Find the code starting with BB. Then visit at Buster Guyana or Turbo_Caribbean on IG or Facebook for details.
Live the island dream, get money. Live the island dream.
Guyana's economy is rapidly transforming, and we're all part of it. Guyana is at the forefront of this development by providing reliable and efficient energy and supporting community development from the very core. 100% of Guyana's profit goes back to building schools, roads, and other important infrastructure that connects our cities and towns, providing fuel to domestic, marine, industrial and aerial transportation. Guyana has now repositioned itself as a market leader in the petroleum industry, building a better future for all of us.
With your regional and international news tonight, I am Svetlana Marshall. In the region, President Donald Trump said 11 narco-terrorists were killed in a strike carried out by the U.S. against a drug-carrying vessel in the southern Caribbean. He posted on social media that Tuesday's U.S. military operation had targeted members of the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua. Trump said the vessel was in international waters and was transporting illegal narcotics bound for the U.S. The Trump administration has ratcheted up military and political pressure against Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro in recent weeks, including through $50 million reward for information leading to his arrest on drug trafficking charges. Maduro has vowed Venezuela would fight any attempted U.S. military intervention. A grainy aerial video released by President Trump on Tuesday showed a motorboat speeding across choppy waters before it burst into flames. In a social media post, Venezuela's communications minister suggested without evidence that the video shared by Trump was created with artificial intelligence. The Reuters news agency wrote that its initial checks on the video had not revealed any signs of manipulation, but that its verification process was still ongoing. When polls close in Jamaica today, over 50 candidates from outside Jamaica's two main political parties, the Jamaica Labour Party, JLP, and the People's National Party, PNP, will be hoping for a political breakthrough. This includes candidates from the Jamaica Progressive Party, JPP, the United Independents Congress, UIC, and several independents. However, history suggests their chances are slim, the Jamaica Gleaner reported. The last time an independent candidate won a seat in Jamaica general election was 1949. That year, independents won 2 of 32 seats and received 12.6% of the vote. The JLP won 17 to the PNP's 13. In 1944, independents even outperformed the PNP in total votes, winning 5 seats with 30% of the vote. The PNP, which also won 5 seats, got 23.5% of the votes. The JLP, with 22 seats and 41.4% of the votes, won the election. Since then, the political landscape has been dominated by the two main parties. For the 2025 election, the JPP has fielded 43 candidates, the UIC 7, and 8 independents have been nominated. And finally tonight, international news. Chinese President Xi Jinping warned the world was facing a choice between peace or war as he held his country's largest ever military parade, flanked by Russia's Vladimir Putin and North Korea Kim Jong-un, according to Reuters. The lavish event, to mark 80 years since Japan's defeat at the end of World War II, has been largely shunned by Western leaders, with Putin and Kim pariahs in the West due to the Ukraine war and Kim's nuclear ambitions, the guests of honor. Designed to protect China's military might and diplomatic clout, it also comes as U.S. President Donald Trump's trade tariffs and volatile policy making strain its relations with allies and rivals alike. Today, mankind is faced with a choice of peace or war, dialogue or confrontation, win-win or zero-sum, Xi told a crowd of more than 50,000 spectators, adding that the Chinese people firmly stand on the right side of history. Riding in an open limo, the Chinese president then inspected the troops and cutting-edge military equipment such as missiles, tanks and drones lining the avenue alongside the square. Helicopters trailing large banners flew information above during the 70-minute showcase, take with symbolism and propaganda. Trump, in a post on Truth Social, as the parade kicked off, highlighted the U.S. role in helping China secure its freedom from Japan. Trump had earlier told reporters he did not see the parade as a challenge to the United States and reiterated his very good relationship with the Chinese president. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Svetlana Marshall, wishing you a pleasant evening.